Good morning, everyone, and it's really my privilege to welcome you to this occasion. It's a very special day during the 75th year celebrations of IIT Kharagpur, an institution that has stood as a beacon of excellence for the last 75 years and written the technology odyssey, or I would say the odyssey of technical education of independent India. Today is a day of joy, of pride and celebration as we mark a couple of very special occasions during the course of our 75-year celebrations. I welcome all the dignitaries who are present here today with us, as well as all the respected guests and members of IIT Kharagpur community comprising of faculty members, staff members, students, alumni, collaborators and well-wishers who have joined us online across the globe. To start this occasion on a traditional and may I say melodious note, we will welcome you with the traditional lighting of the lamp along with an invocation. May I request Dr. Ashok Desharkar, the President of IIT KGP Foundation USA, Madam Kathy Giles Dias, Honorable Consul General, US Consulate in Kolkata, respected Shri Ashok Kumar, Chief Postmaster General, West Bengal Circle, and our Director, Professor Shuman Chakraborty, to please come and do the honors of lighting of the lamp.
क्षेत्रे कर्मयोगः धर्मसु कौशलम् आदर्शाय प्राण तस्मै भरम् एके हि क्षेत्रे कर्मयोगः धर्मसु कौशलम् आदर्शाय प्राण तस्मै भरम् विद्या और बुद्धि के ज्वाला ऐसा है प्रकाश खेल संस्कृति और ज्ञान के मेल का उत्ताकाश निज वर नित्यम लो प्रतिभा के नित्यम गंगा कलात्मका में विशाल रहना विनोद रहना सूत्रधारी प्रेम प्रीत में आकाशाजी हार में नेछे लक्ष्य मोरा जाबो ताई देशेर तरे खाटছে সবে এই আমাদের কর্ম ভাই योग कर्म सुकौशलम विद्युत भवन कृषि विज्ञान यांत्रिक वर्जन नारी गाय या सर्वाची सुधी यानी हो जाती विच होता बेरी नाम बीच नाम है इसका IIT खड़गपुर योगा दामन भावना शोरगोल होती है ऐसे प्रभावशाली चेष्टा का है ये परिणाम बंधुत्व के चरम उदाहरण को कोटि शत प्रणाम योग कर्म सुकौशलम योग कर्म सुकौशलम योगा कर्म सुकौशलम योगा कर्म सुकौशलम कौशलम योगा कर्मसु कौशलम.
May I request the dignitaries to please come and be on the stage. Dr. Ashok Desharkar, Madam Kathy Giles-Tyers, Shri Ashok Kumar, and Professor Shuman Chakraborty. May I request Professor Partho Pratim Chakraborty, our former director, whom we belovedly call PPC, to please come and felicitate the dignitaries on stage. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Professor Chakraborty. That was a truly serene and melodious start to the day. May I now request Dr. Ashok Desharkar to please come and deliver his welcome address.
Can we have the slides, please? Sandeep? Okay. We are here. Hey, turn the lights off a little bit. The lights. একটুখানি থাকুক, বাকিগুলো বন্ধ করে দাও, ঠিক আছে? Which one have to press? Yeah. ঠিক আছে, it's okay. এই লাইটটা বন্ধ করে দাও, এই লাইটটা. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, Guten Morgen, and Suprabhat. Guten Morgen because I just came back from Germany. Okay, so I'm just going to be very brief, to the point, because the director, myself, the previous director, we have a lot of work to do, right, Shuman? We just have no time, and we are running out of time. So I'm going to be brief, to the point.
Ashokda, we are not able to hear you.
That is one of my problems.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So the first one is, I start with, you can all read. I slept and dreamt that life was a joy. And I awake and saw that life was a service. And I acted, and behold, service was a joy. So there's no place appropriate than today in this place, right? Tagore. Next slide, please. So first I want to welcome Minister of Education, Honorable Sri Sukanta Mujumdar, who could not come. He had to go to Bratislava, but he has a prepared speech for us. And then U.S. Consul General from Kolkata, Mrs. Kathy Giles-Tyers. Kathy, welcome. And then Chief Postmaster General of India, Sri Ashok Kumar. Mr. Kumar, welcome. And then last but not the least is our director, on whose shoulder tremendous burden is Shuman Chakraborty. Thank you all for coming. Next one. So, who is every time I talk to PPC, Shuman, I call him Shuman, PPC. No, I should call them director and all that, but they're like my brothers. So, what is the vision? A vision cannot have a lot of statement. It should be crispy, clear, and succinct. So my vision, which I started, and I say mine, and now it is going to become after this meeting, the vision of IIT Kharagpur and the nation of India. We build world-class IIT outreach. I did not say IIT KGP intentionally. I want to say IIT. And I hope that we can achieve this goal for all IITs to have an outreach center in Houston. And an endurance bridge for educational research and innovation. And on one side is IIT Kharagpur with all other IITs, other side is the United States, which is represented by Houston, which in this room is represented by Kathy Giles. So given all this, we are going to both sides work together. And I've been talking to her, she's been talking to me, she's been talking to Kumon, that we together. Why we want to do that? Because I feel strongly that we, in this country, when I said this country, which country? Country where I live or the country I was born? Both the countries is at a crossroad of civilization. If we don't do certain things, I feel like the civilization as it stands today will deteriorate, right? We agree with this, both sides. And so this is not just a university getting an outreach center to make some money in Houston. That is absolutely not the truth. It would bridge the gap between the two countries for betterment of the world, in which principles we believe in: democratization, capitalistic society. Next one. So Tagore Center today, as it stands, some of you have seen it, and that center is headed by my wife, and it is roughly a 14-15 acre land in southwest Houston. It has 3 buildings right now: a open air theater, and a conference center, and a museum. This will become the center point of this development. This is a physical thing, but the emotional thing is a lot more important. You can always spend some money and build some buildings, so what? But this is how we start. Next one. So people have asked me, what is the scope of this? The initial scope is to simply offer some coursework for professional people in the industry. And in Houston, we have, of course, big energy center, oil and gas and all that other stuff. It's a huge medical center. So then we have a med tech, number 3, energy, number 2, and number 4, leadership. So I did not talk about AI. AI will have 2 applications. And I hope, I don't know much about AI, but we keep talking about the fundamentals of AI needs to be taught in this course. And the application of AI should encompass all 3 others. Partha, does that make sense? So this is 2-step AI. One is fundamentals, another is the application of AI for all these 3, S2, S3, S4, so that people understand this. And so that's kind of initial goal, and the final goal would be to create a university-like situation in which PhDs, Masters, and BTech, in that order, not the other way. We should start. Okay, any other slide? So path forward. So path forward, so we have here Mr. Narayanan and his colleague. Where is Mr. Narayanan? Why are you hiding there? So Mr. Narayanan is from KPMG, IIT KGP. Shuman has hired him as a consultant, and he is going to help us for next 18 months to have a path forward. This is, and those of you that know me, I am result-oriented guy. I don't have a lot to talk, but we are going to get this done, period. No buts, no bumps. And Narayanan is going to be involved and in this process. So path forward, I'm not going to read through all this. You can read it yourself. But the path forward, is it clear? No. Anything that is clear in your mind, anybody can do it. Anything that is vague and cloudy, very few people can do it. So we have taken a path of goal which is very vague, very futuristic. It has to be so futuristic that nobody can come close to us. Okay, anything else? So then what will happen is that we will get some KPI. We have 2-hour meeting. We'll go through the key performance index measurements, and those measurements will then be evaluated next year. And I told the director that every year we are going to have this retreat, and we will all come back and judge ourselves, and we better have a positive direction, right? Okay. Last but not the least, I want to thank my family, Ruma, then my older brother, who we all attended IIT KGP, my son Sharon, he's not here today, but most of the property belongs to him. And then my sister is here, and the support team that I could not do without. Is Sandeep, can you stand please? Sandeep, again you are hiding? Somnath, where are you? Rothin? Anirban? Anirban? And last but not the least, Chirodip. Chirodip, কোথায় আছো? Chirodip, thank you very much, all of you. Without their help, we could not have done this, and we are going to do this every year. At least I promised the director for next 3 years, okay? And finally, simple quote, the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. And again from Tagore. Thank you. I appreciate you came here, and we will spend some extremely fruitful day with some really clear goals. And Professor Siddhartha Mukherjee is there. He is very critical, and I want him to be. I told him he is not critical enough, and because if you are not critical, Suman, we cannot get this done. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you again, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok Desharkar, Ashokda, for that very enriching presentation and giving us the clarion call for envisioning the future as we look forward to the next 75 years of IIT Kharagpur and by extension the entire IIT system. The next event, sub-event, whatever we call on this day is a very pleasant one. It is about the release of a stamp in commemoration of 75 years of IIT Kharagpur. I would now request our eminent guest, respected Chief Postmaster General, West Bengal Circle, Shri Ashok Kumar, to please come and introduce the commemorative stamp and address this august gathering.
I have been given 2 minutes. I will request 2-3 minutes more. Honorable Minister of State for Education and Development of Northeast Region, Government of India, Dr. Sukanto Majumdar, who is not present here, but his message is with us. Respected Director IIT Kharagpur, Professor Dr. Suman Chakrabarti ji. Respected Madam Kathy Diaz, Consulate General, Kolkata, US Consulate General, Kolkata. Respected President IIT Kharagpur Foundation, USA, Dr. Sheikh Desarkar ji. Other dignitaries present here in this function, distinguished faculty members, respected alumni, dear students, friends of the media and press, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar. It's a matter of immense pride and privilege for me to stand before you today at this historic stamp release ceremony in commemoration of the Platinum Jubilee of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. We have gathered here today to celebrate not merely a philatelic event, but the legacy of an institution that has become synonymous with excellence, innovation, and nation building. The release of a commemorative postage stamp by the India Post is one of the highest tribute a nation can pay to an institution. A postage stamp is a miniature ambassador. It tells a story, and the story of IIT Kharagpur is one that every Indian should know. It is a powerful narrative of transformation from the Solomon grounds of Hijli detention camp in the colonial days to one of the world's premier technological institutions. For decades, IIT Kharagpur has been the cradle of brilliant minds and groundbreaking research. Its alumni have left indelible mark across the globe, leading industries, driving innovation, and shaping the future of technology. The faculty and research fellows have consistently pushed the boundaries of knowledge, creating solutions for some of the most pressing challenges, from sustainable energy to affordable healthcare. Now coming to Philately, Department of Post, through the colorful world of philately, has always been instrumental in commemorating important achievements and landmarks of national and international importance through issuance of postage stamp, special cover, or picture postcards. In our country, postage stamps have always been more than just a means of communication. Postage stamps are a window to the world. It goes without any saying that any stamp is more than just a postage stamp. It represents culture, tradition, heritage, history, flora and fauna of a nation, and our commitment to the international covenants and global causes. In that sense, it is a miniature document of a state, a carefully curated message about who we are, what we value, and how we see our place in the world. In a world dominated by instant digital messages which appear, flash across a screen, and disappear, a postage stamp reminds us of the value of permanence. A stamp once issued becomes part of the historical record. It cannot be edited, unsent, or deleted. Today, through the release of the commemorative postage stamp on the Platinum Jubilee of IIT Kharagpur, we will be immortalizing its legacy in the nation's record, and the release ceremony here at Sriniketan, a place adorned with the legacy of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, adds a different grandeur altogether to the function. The stamp of the IIT Kharagpur is in the form of a sea tenant featuring the iconic facade of the main building and the old building. Sea tenant stamps are two or more stamps printed on the same sheet and adjoining one another, but which differ in design, color, or denomination. The term comes from the French phrase for holding together or joined together. As the stamp travels the world on letters and parcels or through the stamp collectors, they will carry the spirit of IIT Kharagpur, the spirit of resilience, innovation, and academic rigor, inspiring future generations and highlighting prestige of this institution and the ideals it stands for. India Post, the largest civilian government organization of the world, with its 1,65,000 post offices across this country, is dedicated to serve maximum population, touching every corner and every household in India with our extensive network and workforce. And I hope in future also, India Post and IIT Kharagpur will come together to collaborate and commemorate future accolades. Before I conclude, I also take this moment to congratulate the director, the faculty, staff, alumni of IIT Kharagpur. Your tireless efforts, dedication, and vision have brought the institute to this pinnacle of success. May the next 25 years be even more illustrious, marked by innovations, greater inclusivity, and deeper contributions to the society when we all meet together to celebrate its centenary. I also congratulate and wish good for the new center. I think with this new center, IIT Kharagpur will touch new heights in the world of education and technology. Thank you everyone. Jai Hind.
So now we have come to that momentous occasion where we are going to release the stamp. And may I request Shri Ashok Kumar, our respected Chief Postmaster General, West Bengal Circle, to release this commemorative postage stamp on the occasion of the 75 years of IIT Kharagpur. What a wonderful moment that we witnessed. What a special moment, a really special day. We would now request to play a short video made for this occasion. One of the highest tributes to an institute celebrating the 75-year journey of dedication, of resilience, of growth, and of excellence. And we have all witnessed that momentous occasion in the last few minutes. I would sincerely thank Shri Ashok Kumar, our respected Chief Postmaster General, West Bengal Circle, as well as the philately team comprising of Mr. Dulal Dash, Mr. Joyashish Kormokar, and Mr. Shagnik Chakraborty, who have come here today to join us on this occasion and have also helped us with this event. Our Honorable Union Minister of State for Education, Government of India, Shri Shukanto Mujumdar, could not be with us today, but he is with us in spirit, I must say, and he has sent a specially recorded video for this occasion. May I request the audiovisual cell to please play the video.
Namaskar. Today we have within us Ms. Kathy Galius Diaz, Consul General at the US Consulate General, Mr. T.V. Narendran, Chairperson Board of Governors, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, the Director of IIT Kharagpur, Professor Shuman Chakraborty, Dr. Ashok De Sarkar, President, IIT Kharagpur Foundation, USA, distinguished guests, visionaries, faculty members, staff, alumni, and ladies and gentlemen. সবাইকে আজকের এই বিশেষ অনুষ্ঠানে হার্দিক স্বাগতম জানাচ্ছি। আশা করি আপনারা সবাই ভালো আছেন। It is a pleasure and privilege to join you all today, although virtually, on this historic occasion. This year, as IIT Kharagpur completes 75 glorious years of journey, we celebrate not just an anniversary, but a legacy of nation building. IIT Kharagpur, India's first IIT, is synonymous with excellence, innovation, and leadership. From its humble yet symbolic beginnings in the detention camp the institute transformed a place of confinement into an extraordinary center of learning. This is perhaps the only institution in the world that began its journey in a prison house and rose to become a global beacon of knowledge. Over the decades, IIT Kharagpur has earned the distinction of being the IIT of firsts through path-breaking initiatives and pioneering contributions. Its expansive Gurukul-like campus, its philosophy of open learning, and the flexibility it offers students have helped generation excel across sectors: engineering, IT, finance, consulting, policy, research, entrepreneurship, and more. Today, discipline is no longer a limitation. The institute creates leaders who can adapt, innovative, and thrive anywhere in this world. Today, a special commemorative postage stamp is being released, and I am delighted to be a part of this inaugural moment. In accordance with the national protocol, the stamp will also be released simultaneously across 1100 post offices in this country, ensuring that this historic moment reaches every corner of India. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Ashok Desarkar, President of the IIT KGP Foundation USA, for his vision and generosity. His decision to dedicate a part of the Tagore Center on a 14-acre property in southwest Houston for the Strategic Outreach Center of IIT Kharagpur is truly commendable. This proposed center is not just a physical space, it will act as a bridge connecting India and United States, strengthening academic collaboration, cultural exchange, research partnership, and global learning opportunities. It may serve as a critical platform to advance IIT Kharagpur's global engagement and reinforce India's leadership in technology and education. The Government of India remains firmly committed to strengthening global connection in higher education. Initiatives like Study in India, Gyan, Sparks, and India's increasing academic diplomacy at the global stage are in perfect alignment with the vision behind this center. Our aim is to empower Indian institutions to play a central role in shaping the future of global knowledge network. I am pleased to see IIT Kharagpur's commitment to convergence, integrating science, technology, management, law, humanities, and new frontiers of knowledge. The alumni of IIT Kharagpur are truly Institute's strongest pillar. Spread across the global arena, they are the flag bearers of the India's intellectual strength. Through this strategic outreach center, many of them will now find a home in United States to continue strengthening ties between the two great nations. As India marches towards becoming a global hub of innovation and education, institutions like IIT Kharagpur will serve as a torchbearer of this transformation. The collaboration nurtured through this center will not only benefit students and researchers, but will also contribute to strengthening Indo-US relations in science, technology, and cultural cooperation. As we celebrate this momentous occasion in the land of Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore, I am reminded of his timeless words, which continue to inspire millions across the world. where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. May IIT Kharagpur continue to keep this spirit alive, creating fearless thinkers, innovators, and leaders who shape a better tomorrow. Thank you, and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Honorable Union Minister of State for Education, Government of India, Shri Shukanto Mojumdar, for your inspiring speech. IIT Kharagpur will continue its journey towards excellence and nation building. Over the last 75 years, one of our most valued partners have been the universities, the research organizations, and industries of the United States of America. During our journey, IIT has partnered with these institutions and organizations in United States in its quest for excellence in research, innovation, and knowledge creation. As we look forward to the next phase of our journey, we are confident to further strengthen this relationship, the ties, so that even more compelling and wonderful things can come out of our partnership. Today we have with us the Consul General of US Consulate in Kolkata, Ms. Kathy Giles Dias. We are really honored to have you, madam, amongst us, and may I request you to please come and address the august gathering here, as well as the audience who are watching this online from across the world.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Yep. Okay, great. It's a real privilege to join you here today in Shantiniketan, and I really can think of no better place to be than a place that has shaped generations of thinkers and innovators as we set forth a vision to shape the next generation of leaders and innovators with IIT Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur's extraordinary legacy of excellence, 75 years of it, is rooted in vision, rigor, and national service, and continues to inspire partners around the world, including in America. Your contributions in science, technology, and innovation strengthen the global knowledge community and build prosperity and security for both Indians and Americans. I'm extremely grateful for the warm welcome and for the opportunity to engage with a community that really stands at the forefront of India's innovation story. IIT's plans to establish an outreach center in Houston is an important initiative, and I'd like to think you are paving the way for similar outreach centers across the United States. This center strengthens both America and India's partnership in science, technology, and innovation at a moment of intensifying global competition. This center, I think, is the first of its kind, at least from what I can tell, and that means you're really breaking new ground as you define your role, not only in the local community or in India or in America, but in the world. You don't necessarily have a rule book, and that can be both frightening and freeing. But I think there are real, natural, organic connections between the city of Houston and IIT Kharagpur's greatest strength. What remains now, and what we need to figure out today as we discuss, is how to leverage them. America is a powerhouse for research. We have a long history in creating an environment that invites innovation, experimentation, and that history has helped us put men on the moon, create the internet, and explore the depths of the ocean. I believe that India shares that spirit of exploration that drives Americans. I've seen that spirit throughout this region during my time here in India, and other Americans are seeing it too. Just the other day, I attended an MOU signing between an American and an Indian university to collaborate on technology. The American president of the university that was signing the MOU told me, India wasn't just our top choice, it was the only choice when we were looking for a partner. So that's why I am so excited about the IIT Kharagpur, that IIT Kharagpur chose Houston for your center. You'll find some of the best American innovation in the heart of Texas, where NASA explores the stars, medical tech experts perform cutting-edge research, and America's premier energy corridor powers it all. American industry and businesses are hungry for innovation and research. They want to work with institutions that are on the forefront of innovation and aren't afraid to take risks or tackle new challenges, just like a place like this IIT Kharagpur Outreach Center. One of the things I'm hoping for with this center is the development of a place where America and India come together to generate actionable science that accelerates breakthrough discoveries across critical technologies, bringing tangible benefits to consumers. For example, Houston is home to some of the world's premier research hospitals, like MD Anderson Cancer Center, where people from around the world come ready to fight for their lives. MD Anderson's dedicated research facilities are making breakthroughs that save lives every day. By connecting with institutions like MD Anderson, your researchers could be part of the fight to end cancer. The MOU signing that I mentioned earlier, that connected two impressive universities as they formed a 2+2 joint degree program that will help Americans and Indians develop technical skills and earn degrees spanning both our countries. And that means that they're more likely to share research with each other, driving tomorrow's next big discoveries. Or perhaps your interests lie towards cybersecurity. Texas has a booming cybersecurity industry, including firms like KPMG Houston, which I'm sure would welcome partnership with graduates from India and America. In my office, we're talking a lot about critical minerals, and have found that there is a growing interest in America to find ways to effectively mine and process them. That means that there's more than a drive than ever to connect businesses and government to research. My team has been connecting with organizations like the West Virginia University for Sustainability and Energy Research, which is conducting research on behalf of the American Department of Energy through what's called the Rare Earth Extraction Facility, or REEF. That project is researching how to extract rare earth elements from acid mine drainage, skills which could be leveraged here in India's coal belt if a center like yours can connect the right people. And of course, the sky is the limit when it comes to space exploration. Houston is a leader in this field, and with NASA driving advancements and inspiring companies to develop industries that support space and technology innovation. There are other ideas for you to consider too. Internships, dual degree programs, 2+2 programs, reciprocal exchanges, faculty and professional exchanges, or continuing education and certifications for working professionals. There's a lot on the table. The center could become a hub for matchmaking sessions to put business and research institutions in the same room together, to establish partnerships between companies and researchers, or grow into a premier clearinghouse for public-private partnerships. These are incredibly exciting opportunities, and you are at the forefront of tapping them. Of course, one of the reasons I'm so excited to be here with you as you develop this framework for the center is how closely your goals align with the flagship US-India frameworks like Compact and Trust. Together, we have a real opportunity to protect sensitive technologies, encourage ethical innovation, and ensure that democratic nations lead in shaping global technology norms. Building trusted supply chains for sensitive technologies and promoting cutting-edge research in AI and related fields is a top priority for America and India. Working together in these areas makes us both safer and stronger. The possibilities are truly Texas-sized, and ready for people with vision to lean in and invest. So as we proceed with the discussions today, I encourage you to leverage all that Houston has to offer, not only as an academic gateway, but also as a strategic launch pad for connecting research to business and beyond. I'm looking forward to a vibrant and frank discussion, and my team and I are ready to help you and work with you as you move forward with this exciting opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy Giles-Dyers, Consul General at the US Consulate in Kolkata, for those very encouraging and inspiring words. We also look forward to this outreach center in Houston paving new pathways in the Indo-US partnership. Our Chairperson Board of Governors, IIT Kharagpur, Shri T.V. Narendran, has been with us. He's an integral part of us. And despite his very busy schedule, he made himself available for this program by attending it through virtual mode. Sir, may I please request you now to address the audience.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Shukanto Majumdar, who's not there, but I just heard his inspiring speech, Ms. Kathy Giles-Dyers, Dr. Ashok Sarkar, Sri Ashok Kumar, Professor Suman Chakravarti. Thank you very much. And all the other distinguished members of the audience. My pleasure and privilege to join you virtually, and I'm sorry that I couldn't be there physically. I must thank Ashok Dab for hosting this event, for the generosity of his family, for really working hard to get all of us together to really debate and think about the IIT, the future of IIT, and I'll talk a little bit more about what at least my thoughts are, and as well as what we can do with the Houston Center, as he mentioned, not just for IIT Kharagpur, but for the other IITs as well. You know, India and the US have been built on the pillars of good, high quality education. Definitely in India at the higher level. I think we need to do a lot more at the primary level, and I think that's where the government is focused a lot more on. But I think the IITs have really been the pride of the nation, and the IIT alumni have really done us proud. So there is a lot for us to learn from what we've achieved, but there is a lot for us to do in the future. Personally and professionally, I'm associated with a number of old institutions, and so I speak with some experience. Apart from Tata Steel, which is more than 100 years old, I'm associated with the Indian Institute of Science, which is again one of the first institutes of such eminence set up in India. XLRI, which is oldest management school in the country, and IIT Kharagpur, which is the oldest IIT in the country. And I think while it's a matter of great pride to be associated with an organization or an institution which has been around for a long time, the flip side of that is you can get into a zone of complacency. You can say that I've been around for 100 years or 75 years or more, and that means I must be good, I can survive the challenges, and my future is guaranteed. But I think that's the beginning of the end. If we start thinking that way, that's the beginning of the end. We really need to think about how we were 75 years back when we started, and what was the pioneering spirit that we had then, which has brought us to where we are today, and how can we preserve that pioneering spirit even when we are 75 years old. And that's in some sense how we can really create a passion for the future, a pride for the past but not complacency, and acknowledgement there is a lot that we need to do and keep changing if we want to really create a future which has been as bright as our past. I think educational institutions are going through a lot of disruptions, will go through a lot of disruptions. You know, not only with the subjects that we need to teach and learn, but also the way we teach and learn. I think the nature of education is today being disrupted. I think the US universities are already feeling that in a big way, and I'm sure the Indian universities are also starting to feel that, because with AI, the nature of education is getting disrupted. Why do you need to sit in a classroom? Why do you need to listen to someone? What do you gain from being in a campus? What do you gain from attending a classroom? You know, these are the questions which students are asking, and we really need to think about the answers and add value beyond just sharing information or knowledge which is anyway available you know, on your fingertips. So there is a need for us to build many bridges. We talked about bridges, and Ashok talked about the bridge that we're building between India and Houston. But we need to think about building many more bridges as we create this future. One is, of course, the bridge between the past and the future. What are the elements of the past which we need to build on, and what are the elements of the past we need to forget about? And what are those new elements of the future that we need to build in and create into our curriculums, into the way we look at the future? How can we build a better bridge between alumni and the institute? You know, I think Ashokda and many others who are in the audience today, physically and virtually, have been very passionate about the institute and have been really engaging with the institute. In fact, I would say the ball is in our court, the institute's court, to engage much more, because with an alumni of over 90,000, being the oldest IIT, we have the privilege of having the largest alumni network, and many of them really keen to do some good for the institute that really helped create them. And it is for us as an institute to reach out, and I'm happy that Professor Suman and team are now doing that, reaching out, building trust with the alumni, building relationships with the alumni, really listening to them, taking their inputs, but ultimately, of course, it has to be owned and run by the leadership in the institute. They have to take the inputs and the support that may be available from the alumni, but create a future which is owned by the management of the institute, so that it can be enduring and it can continue for the future. I also think learning from the US we can take is how can we build better bridges with industry. I find that in India, not just IIT Kharagpur, the other institutes as well are not as proactive as some of the universities overseas are in building bridges with the industry. And I think you need two hands to clap. The industry also needs to do its bit, but the academic institutions also need to reach out, because today many Indian industries are global. They are not limited for collaboration to Indian universities. So there are universities across the world reaching out to Indian industry, looking for opportunities. And hence there is a need for the Indian institutes of eminence like IIT Kharagpur to be more proactive, look at how can they reach out to industry rather than wait to industry to reach out to them, because there are many universities reaching out to industry. So the ball is again in our court as IIT Kharagpur to really reach out to industry. While we do all this, I also think we need to think about what are the problems unique to India that we as IIT Kharagpur can address and solve. You know, and I think there are many problems for us to solve. As we create a future, there are still many problems to solve. And I think we need to think about what is it that we can do as an institute with such bright minds with us, fantastic faculty with us, a lot of alumni willing to support us. What is it that we can do to solve some of these problems? It could be to solve a problem which is so current today, air quality. Right? As India industrializes and as India gets richer, as India urbanizes more, the quality of life is going to become very, very important, and that is today a big issue, particularly in the bigger cities and across the country. And for this you need technological solutions, and we need to find those technological solutions. Some of them are there, which are available across the world, and some of them may be unique to the problems that are there in India. So there are things that we need to do that. What can we do about using technology to make education and health more available across all stratums of society, not just in urban India where there are a lot of expensive private sector hospitals, but across the length and breadth of the country where it can be available at affordable prices. A lot of fantastic work is being done in different parts of India, whether it's in eye care, whether it's in cancer care, whether it's in many other areas. And IIT Kharagpur now with the medical college and hospital is in a unique position to do a lot of this work. Indian Institute of Science has also built a medical college and hospital and is doing work on this. Which brings me to the third point, how can we do more and more multidisciplinary work? I think we have a great opportunity in IIT Kharagpur and in some of the other institutes because of the multiple disciplines that are on offer. And how can we leverage that again to solve some of the problems that are unique to India? Urban planning is a big area for India for the future, with so much of urbanization and more people moving to the cities. More and more of our cities are becoming very congested, growing without the planning that may be required. And what is it as institutes that we can do? Because the urban clusters are really going to be the heart and soul of innovation, of a lot of migration, a lot of jobs. And how can we play a role in making sure that that is done in a more in a manner which is less disruptive to the ecosystem? You know, and given that we are in Eastern India, there are some specific strengths of Eastern India which we need to leverage as well. If I look at states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Bengal, we are very fertile and there's huge opportunity for agriculture, food processing, and so many other areas. And if I look at the other states in the east like Chhattisgarh, Odisha, again Jharkhand, geologically amongst the richest states in the country. So much of wealth below the ground, but still a lot of poverty above the ground. So what is it that we can do as an institute to bridge that gap? Which also brings me to the point of how can we create more and more job creators? You know, traditionally, at least the generation that I grew up in, we've all been job seekers, not enough job creation. And how can we create more entrepreneurs? And we have a lot of successful entrepreneurs sitting in the audience, including Ashokda. But how can we create more and more entrepreneurs in India who can create jobs? And you know, what better people to create jobs than the brilliant students that we are able to attract every year? And how can we create that ecosystem for that? I think here again, the universities in the US are great places to learn from, and how can you create an entrepreneurial ecosystem? How can you create accelerators? How can you create platforms where faculty and students can work together, create companies? How can they get funding? How can we host them? Last week I was in MIT and really seeing the kind of work that they've done with the engine, that they have MIT Engine, MIT Media Labs, so many other places where there's so much of innovation and so much of you know, help being given. Same with Stanford, where I was there a couple of months back. A lot of fantastic work. So this is a lot for us to learn, and I think our alumni in the US can help us in that. How do we create that ecosystem where more and more of our students are happier to be job creators, and we can help them in the journey? We talked about medical technology in Houston. It's a big area of interest for India as a country. I was reading a few days back that you know, Andhra Pradesh is creating a cluster because most of the medical equipment in India is imported, and that makes it very expensive, and that adds to the cost of healthcare, which we need to give to so many millions of our citizens. So these are all areas where I think there's a great opportunity for us in India, because there are problems to solve, but there are also opportunities where we can build to scale. And if we can, with our variety of courses that we have and the courses that we can create for the future, leverage all this, I think we can really not only help the nation, but really leave a good imprint for the next 75 years of IIT Kharagpur, as well as India's journey from where it is today to the Viksit Bharat ambition that we have as a government and as a country for 2047. At the same time, we also need to do the basics. We need to make sure that the campus infrastructure is world class. We want to attract world class talent. We need to make sure that the campus infrastructure is world class. Again, I've seen plans that have been made and it's under execution. But that's also very important, because just like you've seen global universities, it should be a campus that we are proud of, infrastructure that we are proud of. You know, and so there is a lot for us to do. I articulate this because I know that as a chairman or as a board, we have a big responsibility. Professor Suman and the team have been working very hard in this direction, and I am sure that with the support of the alumni, with the passion and the commitment of the leadership in IIT Kharagpur and the faculty and the staff, I'm sure we can create a glorious future we can be as proud of as we are of the past. So thank you once again for inviting me, and thank you, Ashokda, once again for your generosity, for your family's generosity, and all the work that you've done to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating speech and for throwing the challenges. We indeed have a lot to do. We are now coming towards the end of the session, and to conclude the session, I would request our director, Professor Shuman Chakraborty, to come and address this audience.
Honorable Sri Shukanta Majumdar, who is of course not physically present, but with us conceptually and emotionally. Mrs. Kathy Giles Dias, Sri T.V. Narendran online, Sri Ashok Kumar, Dr. Ashok Desarkar, former director Professor P.P. Chakraborty, distinguished alumni, guests, colleagues, our deans, faculty members, and all friends of IIT Kharagpur. Namaskar. Today at Shantiniketan, where Tagore's timeless cradle of ideas nurtured, we gather not merely to celebrate the milestone but to declare a new horizon, which has been summarily explained and articulated by all the visionaries in their talks. The commemorative postage stamp is, I would say, today the story of IIT Kharagpur does not travel across the country. It enters the nation's collective memory as a permanent symbol of pride that this release of postal stamp has made it happen. A stamp that marks the past and signals the future. Postage stamps are the original distributed networks, lightweight carriers of ideas. I still remember in our younger days how fond we were to collect these stamps and put these in our notebooks. Traveling silently through millions of hands, today's stamp carries a message, according to me, that India's first IIT, born at the site of the Hijli detention camp, rose from the shadows of colonial oppression to become the lighthouse of a self-confident, innovation-driven nation. IIT Kharagpur has always been an institution of firsts. The first IIT, the first to build certain activities on scale, the first to pioneer interdisciplinary ecosystems. Now we talk about medical, technology and everything. In the year 2001, IIT Kharagpur was the first to initiate the School of Medical Science and Technology, and the first to demonstrate that technology must always serve the society. And this is where I think we are very, very unique. Today, through this stamp, the country honors not just a campus, but a movement that has shaped industries, empowered communities, and influenced global science, engineering, policy, and leadership. Many people have been asking that why at Shantiniketan? I think this is a place where history meets destiny. We are standing on a soil envisioned by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, a soil that celebrates learning not as accumulation but as awakening, not as privilege but as public good. Shantiniketan reminds us that technology may change, frontiers may shift, but India's civilizational ethos of knowledge with compassion, innovation with inclusion remains our North Star. IIT Kharagpur's next 75 years must echo this message. As you have all heard, that the Houston Leap, a bridge, a beacon, a bold beginning, is one of the key points that we are going to deliberate upon in this very, very focused event. In particular, today we will brainstorm on something that marks the radical reimagination of IIT Kharagpur's global outreach, the proposed strategic outreach center in Houston. This is not just designed as a center. If someone thinks that it's just another center, the concept is completely different. It's a launch pad for ideas, collaboration, entrepreneurship, technology diplomacy, and deep cultural engagement. I believe that this will become a gateway for Indo-US research alliances in next gen technologies on healthcare, energy, AI, sustainability, and many others. A home for our global alumni, innovators, and thought leaders. A soft power node enabling India's scientific voice to resonate strongly, not just IIT Kharagpur's. A catalyst for startups, industry partnerships, and bi-directional talent flow. I think this bi-directional talent flow is very, very critical. Personally, I am well aware that there are many startups and industries in the USA who are exploring Indian opportunity and Indian market. And there is a significant technology component of that, because technology adaptation for certain conditions requires certain additional techno business initiatives. And I believe that this center will also foster that, not just a one way but a bi-directional talent flow. A bridge between where we stand here, Bengal's creativity. It is known to be a state of creative people, and America's innovation ecosystem. And all of this is possible because of the extraordinary vision and generosity of Dr. Ashok Sarkar and his family. And we are all deeply indebted because of this. As a symbol, it reminds us that alumni do not simply graduate from this great institution. They carry in their hearts across oceans. We take this as a strategic investment in India's scientific future. As we celebrate 75 years, let us ask, why must IIT Kharagpur think differently? What must IIT Kharagpur stand for, at least in the next 25 years? What must we build before we reach our centenary? Let me share my 3 guiding convictions. Number 1, IIT Kharagpur must become the global hub of technology for humanity. Not just cutting edge science, but science that transforms the lives of farmers, artisans, patients, workers, and communities who need the intervention the most. Number 2, we must lead India's technological sovereignty. Semiconductors, quantum systems, defense technologies, sustainable energy, affordable healthcare, indigenous AI, these are not just options, these are imperatives. Number 3, we must build a globally distributed IIT Kharagpur. With more than 90,000 alumni, we must do that. Our Houston Center is the first step. Tomorrow, it could be anywhere. Wherever knowledge ecosystems thrive, IIT Kharagpur must have a heartbeat. At 75, typically when Indian institutions are not that old, in particular, we earned our freedom only in 1947. Most such institutions would look back. We need to look forward with lessons learned from the back. At 75, most institutions would celebrate their legacy in India. We strengthen our resolve. At 75, most institutions might slow down a bit, but we must strategically accelerate. IIT Kharagpur began in a detention camp. Today, it stands in Bengal's cultural heartland. Tomorrow, it will influence the world from Houston and beyond. This is our journey from struggle to service to global leadership. Let this commemorative stamp remind us every day that we are custodians of a great promise. Let the thought leadership of the Houston Center remind us that the world awaits our next contributions. In the spirit of Shantiniketan, in the aspiration of a rising India towards Vikshit Bharat 2047, and in the confidence of more than 90,000 alumni who are shaping the world, IIT Kharagpur steps its next century with courage, clarity and conviction. Today, as our Platinum Jubilee commemorative stamp was released by Sri Kumar, we effectively cross the boundary from a stamp that travels India to a center that travels the world. This commemorative stamp will travel across India. It is already released through more than 1,000 post offices, carrying the story of IIT Kharagpur to the farthest corners of our nation. Our proposed outreach center at Houston will carry the same story across the oceans, the same story, into the world's most dynamic innovation ecosystem. One of the agenda of today's event symbolizes our legacy, the stamp, and the other, the outreach center, ignites our future. Together, they declare one central message. IIT Kharagpur is not just connecting places, it is connecting destinies as we march ahead beyond our Platinum Jubilee. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Chakraborty, for that rejuvenating speech. Today is a day when we reflect on the past, celebrate the present, but most importantly, envision the future. And that's the overall spirit of today's program. We started with looking at the past, celebrating the past to this commemorative stamp, but there's a lot to do and lots of miles to travel as we move forward. With this, we come to the end of this inauguration session, and may I now request our director, Professor Chakraborty, to please felicitate the two eminent guests on stage today, Shri Ashok Kumar and Ms. Kathy Giles-Daz. That brings us to the end of the first session, the inaugural session. We will now break for a tea or coffee break. And I'm also being told that lunch, for those who are here, lunch will be served today in this building, and dinner will be at Ashok Das residence in the evening, where I also understand there is a musical treat for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with those words from our chairman, it's not the time to be complacent. We need to move forward with the wisdom of a 75-year-old institute and the thirst of a startup. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would thank our chairman, Sri Narendran, for being with us. Sir, thank you very much.